final thoughts for Ray of players that are worth putting the chip on, the triple captain or players?
Yeah, with the triple captain, Ray, to be honest with you, mate, I would say, I would play it safe because, we don't know what's going to happen. We've not much data and not much real evidence of who's going to be on form. I think save those in your back pocket. I think, to be honest, the best shout I've heard is the MVP with the bench boost because you kind of win with that a little bit. As long as you know those players on your bench are likely to start based on the rest of the season. I think that's a good way to go because at least you're kind of accumulating some more points if you're let down by players in your first team. So that's the way
can you play two chips in the same week?
No.
That's a shame. So anyhow, Ray, I think we answered your question there. How was that, mate?
Yeah, it was lovely jubbly, mate. Lovely jubbly. I can't wait to get down the pub with Derek and Tell. And all I've been doing is Jaeger bombs every day. Jaeger bombs. I've been loving it, getting right on it. My missus, she's going right under, mate. She can't handle it, but she wants to get me down the pub. I did a bit of golf for the weekend. Lovely jubbly, but yeah, can't wait, lads. Listen to your show. Love your show. I'll see you all soon, all right, down the pub.
Excellent, Ray. And keep listening because we're going to go into the teams of the week, the best ones to have shortly, so you get some more intel there. Thank you very much for calling in, Ray.
Cheers, lads. Love ya.
Excellent. There you go, ladies and gents. Ray from Essex. What a lovely diamond bloke. Man after my own heart, the old Jaeger bombs. God, I miss them.
He loves a Jaeger bomb, he does. Oh, Ray.
Who doesn't, eh? Who doesn't? And if you want to be live on air, want to have your rambling from the dugout, you want to have it called out on air, give us an email. What's the email address, Neel?
leftinthechangingroom@gmail.com.
Certainly is. It never changes. leftinthechangingroom@gmail.com. Get us on Reddit, Left Back FPL. Give us some kudos. We need it. We really need it.
We do.
Our kudos is really
need it.
We need it. We need it more than that Jaeger bomb. We need them both in equal measures. Anyhow. So, guys, I think all that is left to say for this week then, I want to hand it over to both of you. You are the experts. Rikki Pelligrini, second in the league. NVD, you're sitting fourth, just behind third. Both in the top four, those Champions League spots. What are you looking at? Fantasy Premier League. What's the ultimate setup this week, formation-wise? Pellers, take it away.
Okay, I would say, to be honest, I'm going to play it pretty safe. Looking at my team, it's one of those, when at the beginning of the season, during pre-season, you change your team about 100 times, you keep changing your mind, and then the day of the final transfer deadline window, you switch someone, and then you take that player out, and then they have a blinder, right? So I'm just thinking about that. I'm just thinking, let's just play it safe in terms of, I don't want to be beating myself up the next day, at the end of that weekend, thinking, why didn't I just stick with the team I had? They were in form, they were good players. I think I've got a well-balanced team at the moment. We were kind of talking earlier about players like Aubameyang, Fernandes, De Bruyne. To me, they're safe bets because I feel like they're going to start.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to get on the score sheet and score points.
What you've just done there is explain exactly why I'm in seventh, mate. That's why I'm in seventh, because I kept taking out the form players. So I'm with you there. But
it's hard to do. But long story short, the rest of the team is where it's going to be tricky because you're not going to know who's fit. You're not going to know who's fit, who's going to be playing well, who's going to start even. Because there might, we were talking about earlier, there might be some players who have been failed, some of the fitness tests. We just don't know about that yet. So I think I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to keep it pretty similar to probably how I left off. Apart from my bench, because my bench wasn't very good and I need to switch a few players there, so I've already done that. But yeah, I think that's kind of the way I'm going to go.
Already done it. Nice. Well prepared. He's been in the toilet already doing it. He's got it. I like it. I do like the fact that this has given you that opportunity to switch your bench players and get people in. And looking at your team, I mean, you had a 3-4-3 beforehand. Popey in goal. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, a nice Liverpool combo at the back there. Fernandes, then Salah, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Traore. Very strong middle there, mate. And the three up top with Aubameyang, Jimenez and Ingsy. Is that pretty much what you're looking at, the 3-4-3, the same players? Or can we expect any changes?
There might be a couple of sneaky changes there. I don't want to give all my cards away there, but yeah, it's pretty much it.
Are you brave enough to tell us what the front three are? Not necessarily yours.
No, but... I'll say Aubameyang, Jimenez, Jimenez and Ings. I think they've got good fixtures. Dare I say it, my beloved West Ham, Jimenez is playing against West Ham. It is at Wolves, but Jimenez is a solid striker. He's one of the best in the Premier League, in my opinion. Aubameyang is, I think, the hardest thing, I think, actually, is just going to be who's captain. I think that's going to be the hardest choice. And as you were saying earlier about the whole, I've got Aubameyang. I could potentially put in Aguero right now because he's around about the same price. We're switching a few other players around. So Aguero or Aubameyang. Man City got 2 home games. Arsenal have got 2 away games. So
do you know what? I'm looking at this and I'm just wondering, with the fact that everyone can now get free transfers, and I don't know if you had this problem when you looked at your team, but is everyone just going to end up with a pretty similar team? I mean, people are going to do old Fernandes, De Bruyne. So it's pretty
I think that's the problem, right? Yeah. I think most people in your mini league generally ended up with, I don't know, probably about 50-60% of the team the same anyway. And the thing is that we've not got much to go on, so we're always going to revert to what was the form beforehand. So I think that's going to be the problem.
The differential, right? The 2 differentials.
That's it. Our FPL managers willing to take that gamble, right? It goes back to what we were saying about some of those players that were injured, or just generally some of those players that you might have heard about, seen, are looking sharp. Yeah. Do you just gamble on them, and are they going to be the ones that pay off and get you up the table?
You're going to take that. It's really the bravery shot, isn't it? And if you're going to take the bravery move and take in the differentials, I've called out Sterling earlier. You've called out Harry Kane. Rashford's back, Pogba. Is there anyone outside of that's just 4 players that you could look at? Anyone outside of that might be worth a shout?
I mean, there's a few players. There's Lundstrom from a defence. Well, he's still listed.
He's already doing
it. Defender.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of players have gotten already kind of they jumped on that Lundstrom bandwagon. Maybe they got rid of him, so it's probably a good time potentially to kind of get him back. I think especially as they've got a double game week as well. Yeah, I mean, again, maybe kind of some of the Tottenham players, really. People are going to jump back on Son. He's kept himself fit because he's had to go away and do military service. So I'm sure he's pretty sprightly and looking to get back into playing football.
He's in 4.7%. He's in 4.7% of squads. Son.
Spurs are playing Man United as well, right? So that'll be Jose against United. I mean, that's going to be a really tasty fixture to start off with.
But can you believe he's got 4.7% of squads? That is a very low percentage for someone of his quality. There's not a lot of people own him. So that's a great shout, MVD.
You're suggesting we should get him in, fellas?
I mean,
I can see it.
Maybe not.
There's always a massive differential there. The only one I would add is Jamie Vardy. Not
yeah, that's true.
Everyone sold him before this situation. He wasn't allowed to party. Rebecca kept him in. He had a baby. All that stuff. Will he be back on fire? Will he be partying again?
Yeah, maybe. There you go. That's what maybe not even needed. I think the main thing, and I think you hit the nail on the head with your formation, Palace, is that 3-4-3, because to be honest, we just don't know how these games are going to play out behind closed doors, right? A, you just don't know fitness, and B, you just don't know how players are going to respond to consecutive games or, well, the rest of the season, essentially, with no fans. And I think we've spoken about it in previous podcasts. There could be some big score sheets, in which case you're probably going to want to stay away from, loading your defence as with as many players as possible. So I think a 3-4-3 is a solid formation for FPL managers.
And nice that the old attacking defenders as well. That's a very, very nice sort of touch. Yeah. Was there anyone you wanted to buy and you couldn't afford them because you just didn't have the money? Or it
there is that. What I was kind of referring to before, I'll have to do a little bit of shuffling. For example, if I wanted to sell Aubameyang and get Aguero in, right, there's a difference of 0.7 million. 0.7 is 0.7, right? It's not tons, but if you're already got, I've always had pretty much the strategy of having pretty rubbish bench, right? I try and just keep that as low as I can, just so I can spend all the money on the first 11. So it's going to be hard because I can't see many of the players in the team that I really want to take out.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? If you shuffle it up and you get Aubameyang out and you try and get Aguero in, you then end up changing your core.
And then you start thinking about probabilities. It's like, well, then those 2 players could do better than the one Aguero, because you're banking on one, Aguero versus 2 players.
Yeah.
You know, you get what I'm saying. So it's things like that. But I think there was a couple of good shouts earlier as well. I think the fact that Grealish doesn't surprise me. He's the top, most transferred in. I can see him having a couple of good games. Aston Villa have got to go for it. They've got a game in hand against Bournemouth, West Ham, all the ones down the bottom. So I can see him having a good one. And I think a good shout about Pogba as well, because he's off the radar. We've completely forgotten about Paul Pogba, but he's one of the best players in the world. And
but is he going to be rusty, mate, coming back in, not played for such a long time? Or you think he's going to hit the ground running?
Maybe. But I mean, we all know he's a class player, right? On his day, he's unplayable, and he just could come back.
Cream always rises to the top, don't they? You can always bank on the top class players, but again, with Paul Pogba at Man United, that's the problem. It's like he's never really always done it, consistently anyway when he's been fit.
Yeah, this is it, guys, right? And I hear this time and time again. I hear people rave about Pogba, and I hear it constantly. And as a Manchester United fan, I am not convinced because he has not done it consistently. He's had one or two great games. He's cost a lot of money, and he has won the World Cup, right, for France. But I just don't feel that his heart's into Manchester United enough. He doesn't show it to me, and I don't like that. It's a bit of an arrogance that he needs to shift. And, if he's going to be a good player, he needs to be knocking in the performances like a De Bruyne every week in, week out, driving, winning us games. He's won us one or two games on his own, like occasionally. But I know you guys call it out and you say, great player. He's going to, I don't know, the jury's out for me still on him, still. And maybe that's because I expect more of a Man United player from the likes of what we've had in the past. Or am I just being a bit harsh?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's a fair shout, right? You've only got to look at some of his appearances and how he played for Juventus, right? And as you were saying, that pride, that passion, and how he was galvanised to play for him. Just you thought this guy is amazing, and everyone hated the fact that he was going to Manchester United. But you're right? He's just not had that. And I don't even think it's been sometimes down to the fitness. It's just been about his attitude more so. And yeah, I mean, I think that's why people kind of keep the verdict out on him, because we know he's got quality. It's just that his attitude since he's been at Manchester United has just been poor.
Yeah. He needs to turn it on. Yeah.
But you never know, right? The arrival of someone like Fernandes, and also this current climate where actually he may not get that dream move that he's been hoping for. Clubs might not be spending as much as they wanted to, right? Because of the whole financial situation. So he might be forced to have another season at Manchester United, in which case, with an ego like his, he doesn't want to play second fiddle to someone like Bruno Fernandes, who, let's be fair, right? As soon as he's come in, he's been smashing it.
Yeah.
As we kind of expected it at Manchester United. So, if anything, he's going to want to kind of flex his muscles and show his prowess, and
going to bring his level up, hopefully, as well, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope he doesn't. I hope you get, whatever. You're closer to getting relegated than winning the title. But anyway, but we'll see.
We'll see. Get that in all night, isn't he? He's been waiting all night to get that in. We're going to cut that, NVD. Cut that. That said, mate, he could be a differential. And what I think is an important thing, lads, and you've said this already, Pedders, and I think NVD to a degree, that everyone's got such a similar team. How many differentials do you want? Do you want to keep like 75% the same and then maybe change up 3 players? If you're like me, 7th in the league, need to get back on.
Why not?
How many? Too many. What if I do all 11 different from everyone else? Is that too much?
Yeah, I wouldn't do all 11.
No,
you've got 3 or 4 at least strong differentials.
Who do you think of those 3 or 4?
Well, you mentioned it already. I think
not differentials. Sorry, the 3 or 4 core players to keep in the team. Salah.
Yeah, if you got Salah, if you got De Bruyne,
Liverpool. You've got to keep your Liverpool players. I think they're 2 games away from winning the Premier League. They've had all this rest. I think they're going to come out flying from the gates. I think they're going to spank someone like 8-0 in one of these games, the next few games.
But we only need 2 games. We may only need 1 game. So, I mean, as much as I love to hear that comment, Pellas, telling FPL managers to kind of jump on the Liverpool bandwagon. And if we do wrap up the league, which theoretically we could do in just the next game, if Manchester City draw or lose, that's probably the time where you're going to rotate players, because actually this is almost like the best pre-season you can have. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'd argue against that.
if you win the Premier League early, right, then essentially you're right.